A very good morning to all of you, 8C. Welcome to the biology class, children. Hope you all are fine.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
Good morning, good morning. Okay. So ready for the class?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So before proceeding further, I would just like to recall or recapitulate what we did in the last class. We talked about a very sensitive topic. We talked about a topic that is related to you, and it is adolescence and the human hormones. Yes. So we were talking about that lesson, and in that I told you that what is all about adolescence, what is adolescence, which age group falls in this. Then we talked about the changes that take place, what is puberty, what is the onset of puberty. We talked about all these terms, yes, and then we were discussing about the changes that take place on due to the growth, you can say, or the changes that take place on puberty. So we discussed about one of the change, and that is the change in the voice, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we discussed about the Adam's apple and all. Yes. Now, in today's class, we'll be talking about more of the changes that take place in the bodies of the girls and in the body of the boys. Fine. So, the next one, that is increased activity of the sweat or and the sebaceous gland. Now, this is one more thing. Children. See, children, whatever we study, whatever we are going to study, or whatever we are studying, just related to is it happening with you, or it is happening with like your peer group children. Try to understand in that way, then it will be easy for you. As you keep if you keep thinking yes, and then you learn the same thing, yes, yes, actually it happens. Fine. So when we talk about the increased activity of the sebaceous and the sweat gland, here, by that, in nutshell, it means that the children, like the girls and the boys, they generally develop, they have acne on their face, facial acne they develop. Yes, have you ever observed this? Come on, children, be a little sportive. छोटे छोटे दाने फेस पे बहुत सारे निकल आते हैं. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Have you
ma'am.
observed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you must have seen in different children. Yes, and why it is happening? Because of the, see, you are growing, you are changing, you are towards growth. So what is happening is that there is an increased activity of the oil gland. More oil is produced, and at the same time more sweat is produced. Now see what happens when there is an increased activity. This clogs, it closes the pores. You know that our skin has also, it has pores. Yes, there are pores present on the skin, and if these pores are blocked, if they are closed, then of course the dirt will not be able to release out. And then what happens, these get clogged, and when you see, when the dirt is there, gandagi, what is going to be present there? Teachers tell you to clean your teeth nicely, otherwise what is going to take place? Come on.
Bacteria.
Yes.
Bacteria.
So the same, yes. So the same way here also, when the clogging takes place, it starts accumulating. It's not able to release out. Yes, the pores get closed, and this gets infected by the bacteria. Fine. When it gets infected by bacteria, some red colored structures you can see, which we call as acne, and these acne develop. Now what happens, slowly, gradually, it remains for some time, for some, like for maybe for a little longer time, but then slowly it stops and your skin is all right. So it is just because of the change. Now just imagine that whatever we are talking about actually happens. So these changes are taking place, and you can actually see that yes, these acne are present on the faces of different children. Fine. So it is because, what is the logic behind it? Is because of the increased activity of the sebaceous and the sweat glands. Any problem? Quickly, please.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, yes, we move further. The next topic is development of the sex organs, secondary sexual characteristics, and fertility. Now, before anything, just try to differentiate between two important things, that is primary sexual characteristics and secondary sexual characteristics. This question is often asked, what do you mean by secondary sexual characteristic? So you understand the difference between primary and secondary, isn't it? I mean, the word primary and secondary, you understand the difference between it. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So primary means primary sexual characteristics. By primary we mean which are present from birth. That means which help to differentiate between the gender, that whether it is a male or a female. So that is the which characteristic feature? Primary characteristic feature. The secondary sexual characteristic feature, they also help to differentiate between a male and female, but with the appearance, with the physical appearance, you can know that whether it is a girl or it is a boy. Understanding the characteristic features that you can see. So basically you can say the primary characteristic feature, that is that differentiates in the gender. Fine. And the second, like at the birth, at the time of birth, people are able to know whether it's a girl or a boy. It's because of the sex organs. Fine. Then when we talk about the secondary sexual characteristic feature, then we talk about these characters which are now developing with the changes which are taking place in the body of the girl, in the body of the boy, and the person is able to differentiate that yes, this is a boy, this is a girl. Are you understanding? And it is because of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
sex hormones.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is basically because of the sex hormone. May I know, did I tell you about the sex hormones in the last class, children? No?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we have the sex hormones, and we have different sex hormones. That is, for males we have testosterone, and for females it is estrogen. It is estrogen for females and testosterone for the boys. Fine. Okay. Now, these sex hormones, they control the activity, different activities. As I told you when I was telling you the introduction, these control the activities, different changes in the body of the males, in the body of the females. Now, let's talk about it in detail. Yes. This causes a change in the development of the sex organs, secondary sexual character and fertility I'm talking about. And there I'm reading the second last line for you. These causes changes in them called the secondary sexual characters. As a result, girls and boys begin to look mature like the men, like the women. Clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Now we'll talk about the changes that start taking place. Now, as I said, that when we talk about the when you've gained puberty, when we talk about this, we actually mean that a boy and girl are now sexually capable of reproduction process. I said that day. Yes. Now, what are the changes that have taken place when we talk about these characteristic features? What changes have taken place? Like in the boys, if we talk about sudden increase in the height, we can see, we can also see the height increase in the girls. Yes, when you come to the teen age, you see that there is a change in, there is a sudden shoot up in the height, you can say. Fine. Then I also told you that the body, sometimes the body height and the hands and the legs, they do not go hand in hand. Sometimes it's like it's not in coordination. Yes, but in few days, in some time, it also is properly adjusted. So this is one change. Then the other change is there is a growth of the hair axon of the regions in the boys and in the girls. Like under the armpit, the hair start growing. Same way the girls also, you start getting a growth of the hair. Then in the pubic region, in case of the girls, there is a hair growth that can be seen. Then the body widening, the lower portion of the girls, it takes place. The broadening of the waist, you can say, it takes place. Then of course a very important feature in the girls is, that is, the mammary glands start developing. Yes, and because as you know that when we talked about the reproduction process, that the females, they give birth to the young ones. So for them to feed on, it is a characteristic, important characteristic features of all the mammals. They have mammary glands, and the mammary glands, they produce the milk for the feeding up of their babies. So this is one more change that takes place, that the mammary glands start developing. Then yes, then of course the sex organs, they also they are on growth. Now the testes they start in boys, they start producing what? We have done in reproduction. Come on, tell me quickly. Testes, they start producing what? Let's see. We have done it in the last chapter. They start producing the sperms.
Sperm.
Yes,
Sperms.
and in the, yes, and in the females, what is being produced?
Ma'am, ovum.
Ovum.
Ovum. That is the egg. Yes, and one mature egg is produced. And if again the same thing, if it does not get fertilized, then the menstruation process takes place. So these are the small changes. These are the changes that we actually observe in the boys and in the girls. Fine. Now we move on to the other topic, that is mental, intellectual, and emotional development. I think I gave you an introduction of this when we talked about the chapter that we initiated the chapter. We talked about this is a very important part of the adolescence children, that there is a you can say that there is a disturbance all the time in the mind. Your mind is not at one place. Many of the time the children, they are able to control. I told you that they are able to control their emotions, but then there is a fight going on inside you. Why? Come on, tell me. I told you in the last class. Due to what?
Ma'am, because sometimes parents says that we have grown up and sometimes say that you are still small.
Oh my god, such a sweet answer. Who is it? Please tell your name.
Ma'am, Kripa.
Okay, thank you, Rupa. Yes, so exact answer, exact what I said. Yes, correct. See, there is a disturbance. Why? Because you yourself are not able to decide. It's not only the parents, but everybody starts saying like that. Yes, and this is because it happens with everyone. So it is something natural, and it is happening with everyone in this particular age, that you are not able to decide that whether I'm grown up or I'm still a small kid. When you do kiddish habit, parents and others, they expect you to grow up. When you are like, when you want to converse and when you want to sit in the family decision and all, then you are a small child. Come on, go away from here, go and study. So this, by this sentence or by this example, what I mean to say is that you are not able to adjust yourself, your emotions. There is an imbalance. You are not able to, sometimes you feel like crying, even if something very small happens. If your mother says something, you start crying, then you want attention. Yes, you want your mama, your papa, your teachers and your friends, kya ho gaya, like that. It is like that. These things start taking place. You are emotionally not balanced. You are not able to balance your body. Similarly, like some of the at this age, see, supposing this is the age when you are in your 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. So it is the age where more of the concentration is required on studies. Many of the children who are able to balance themselves, who are able to set their routine, in their case, like they of course do very well. But here the same case, some of the children who fall into bad things, bad activities, or those who are not able to come out of certain problems, they are not able to share their problems with others, there this problem arises, that maybe that a part of your life you can spoil. So please do not do this. Whenever, like when it is being told that yes, you are in this age, do not think that yes, I have a right to do this. No, it's not like that. It is told so that you are well aware before that, yes, I have to be, like, I have to go on the right path, not on the wrong one. Fine. So I'll just read out for the text for you so that it is easy for you to understand. Compared to the children, adolescents think in ways that are more advanced. Yes, more efficient and generally more complex. They are able to think of more abstract and creative ideas. So it's here only you have the positivity also. Like, if supposing like I am 30 plus, if I am taught something new, yes, so I'll take time to learn it, but you'll be very quick at learning at the same time, because here again, but it depends on you whether you want to concentrate or not. So you are the one who's going to decide that yes, you are more creative. If there's a quiz, you will be just one who does all the brainstorming to tell the answers. You're very quick at learning, you're very quick at understanding, but only when you do so, when you engage yourself in doing so. Fine. Adolescents find it easier than children to comprehend difficult concepts. The adolescent greater facility with abstract thinking also permits the application of advanced reasoning and logical to social and ideological matters. So you can learn a lot. This is clearly seen in adolescents, increased facility and interest in thinking about interpersonal relationship, politics, philosophy, regional and morality, topics that involve such abstract concepts of friendship, faith, democracy, fairness, and honesty. So you have more of the, you can say, courage, you have more of the thinking, more of the positivity to go on these and think on this topic. And that is why you must have, you must have heard about that youth are doing this, youth are doing that. Yes, because they have that, you can say, they have that, that power. Yes, I want to do this, I want to do that. Yes, and later when you come to the later stages of life, then everything is gone. So here you have to take your energy, your power to the correct direction, that where I have to go. As a result, Ronsons may display increased interception and self-consciousness, higher intellectual capability, but also intense preoccupation with the self. At times, it leads teenagers to believe that others are constantly watching and evaluating them. Very important line. Yes, many of the times it's that, like, you always keep, you are in your own world, you keep thinking, mujhe hi dekh rahe, observing me only. Yes, so that has to be controlled. It should not be the case. The thinking tends to become multidimensional rather than limited to a single issue, where children tend to think about things one aspect at a time. Adolescents describe themselves and others is more different, more about differentiated and complicated terms to find it easier to look at problems from multiple perspectives. It permits the adolescent to have far more sophisticated and complicated relationship with the people. Adolescents are more likely to question others. क्यों? Mothers are especially they get very irritated when you ask kyun. Yes, if she says ye kar lo and you start saying kyun, now this habit develops. Why? You want to know. So they are more in a habit of asking questions, and this change can be particularly frustrating to parents who may feel that their adolescent children question everything just for the sake of argument. So this is the problem that happens, that arises. So what you need to do is you have to be a little patient, and moreover, do not lose connection with your elder ones, with your parents, with your teachers, of course, with your whoever is there for you in the family, the elder people. Yes, so just keep talking to them, keep telling your problems to them, so that they are there for you to tell that yes, it happens, it will be okay, don't worry. Don't keep overthinking about something. It may hamper your life, it may hamper your studies. On the other hand, just go and discuss it. That will be better. I think I'm clear, children.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this much clear? Now you can see some beautiful smileys on the same page. Can you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So kabhi rona, kabhi hasna. Yes, it's like that. So that is what I was telling you, that more emotional transition is there. Yes, you suffer you can say a stage where this. Acha, what do you mean by emotions? Come on, tell me. In your own way, how can you tell about emotions? Anyone? Come on, quickly. Yes. Beta, I'm unable to hear you. Please be a little louder.
Mood swings.
Sorry, can't hear. Anyone else? Emotions. What does emotion include?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
mood
a way
swings,
of
feelings.
Yes.
expressing what we are feeling at the moment.
Yes, yes, of course, correct. The feelings that come and you need to express them. Sometimes you feel like expressing, sometimes you don't feel like expressing. So that all includes the emotions. Sometimes you start crying also. You don't want to tell it to others, but you start crying. Sometimes you are over expressive. You want to talk, 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 talk. You want to tell everything that is there in your heart. Yes, so these are different emotions in our body. which sometimes we want to discuss, sometimes we do not want to discuss. But the idea behind is you should be expressive, not too much, but then you should be expressive enough so that you are not in problem. So in the next class, we'll be talking about the emotional transition. This is how we have come to the end of today's class. Now children, let me tell you very clearly, this chapter, there are some of the topics where you may consider that ma'am is telling something like that. It's vague, but it's not like that. It is totally related to your chapter. It is totally related to you. So just please do not leave it like that. Keep revising, keep studying about it. If you come across anything that you don't understand, please ask it. Fine, it's very important. Do not leave it like that, because definitely this is the chapter which will be included in your exams and you'll be getting questions from this. So we are talking, it's good. I try to bring it to a level so that it is easy for you to understand. Not in explanation form, but more in a talking form. I keep talking to you, more of talking for this chapter. So just please revise it, do not leave it like that. And if you come across any problem, please ask. Fine, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is how we have come to the end of today's class. Till we meet again, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye, children.